سڵاو خوێندکاران، هیوان باشیتانە. لەم ڤیدیۆیە باسی چاپتر 7 سێکشن 1ەکەین کە باس لە chemical names and chemical formulas ئەکات. باس پێ بکەین. Chemical compounds. So compounds in nature, there are many compounds. There are millions compounds in nature. Some of them they are natural. هەنێک لە compoundەکان natural. ئەوەکانی تر syntheticن. یعنی ئەو compoundانەی کە خۆمان لە لابا دروستیانەکەین. هەنێکی تریشیان natural و لە سروشتا خۆیان هەن. اینجا ئەم کۆمپاوندانە هەنێکیان زۆر کۆمنن کە لە ڕۆژانە بەکاریانهێنین، بۆ نمونە limestone کە ئەمە لە چۆک لە پێڵین calcium carbonate. یعنی ناوە زانستیەکەی the scientific name of limestone is calcium carbonate. بەڵام calcium carbonate بە limestone بەناوبانگە، چونکە وشەیەکە کە ڕۆژانە بەکارێت، هەرچەنە لای خۆمان کەمتر بەکارێنین، بەڵام limestone or calcium carbonate uses in making chalk. باشە لە تەباشیرە بەکارێت. اینجا table saltمان هەیە کە ئەمیش کۆمپاوندێکی زۆر کۆمنە کە ڕۆژانە بەکارێنین، بەڵام it has a scientific name sodium chloride. اینجا water کە لەوانەیە زۆر بەمان پێشتر ئەو ناوەمان نەبیستوێت، پێڵین dihydrogen monoxide، بەڵام common name-ەکەی کە ڕۆژانە بەکارێنین پێڵین water. باشە؟ ئەمانە سێ exampleن لەسەر common name chemical compoundەکە. ئەم chemical compoundانە ئەمە پێویستە ناوە زانستیەکەیان بزانی. We need to know their scientific name. Why? بۆچی؟ چونکە common names they do not give any information. هیچ زانیاریەکمان پێ نایەن about دەربارەی چی؟ chemical compositions. باشە؟ هیچ informationێکمان پێ نایەن لەسەر composition. بۆ نمونە کاتێک ئەڵێی water، ئەمە common nameێکە. Water is made of what? یعنی لە ناوەکەیە هیچ informationێکم پێ نایێت. باشە، بۆ نمونە table salt کە ئەمەڵێن salt، هیچ زانیارێکت پێدا؟ نەخێر. doesn't give any information. کەواتە chemists هاتون چیان کردووە؟ they have given scientific names. methodێکیان هەیە. they use a systematic method for naming compounds. باشە؟ and for writing chemical formulas. So لەم سێکشنەیە باسی ئەو scientific methodانە ئەکەین کە کەمیستەکان بەکارێنن بۆ نەیمینی کۆمپاوندەکان natural و synthetic. باشە؟ کە ئەم ناوە زانستیانە زۆر مهمن و پێویستە ئێمە خۆ ناین نەیمینی هەموو کۆمپاوندەکان بکەین، ئەو کۆمپاوندانەی کە زۆر کۆمنن و ڕۆژانە بەکارێن. باشە؟ pure substances. ئێمە کاڵین pure substance، ئێمە لە سێکشن یەکەمان خوێنمان. pure substance means elements and compounds. Okay? Elements are made of a same type of atoms, and compounds are made of molecules, isn't it? Or made of a group of molecules or group of ions. That's a basic, okay? إما ال section يكا خنمان elements كان أتوانن atomic بن and some of them they are molecular. دو جور معنى atomic molecular. Atomic كان أو elementانا they're made of individual atoms. بونمونس neon. لير neon elementica أما symbolic elementi is made of individual atoms. لا تشي بيكاتوا individual atoms that they have not bonded with each other. Basha, there is not a chemical bond between them. But some of the elements, their atoms, they exist as molecules. Atomacania bashui molecule han. Do they have bonded. Basha? Do yek bond yan kerdo legal yak tiraw molecule yan drus kerdo. But these molecules paneling diatomic molecules of same type, homogeneous. Atomana molecule yandrus kردوا كواتا حسابونمنا O2 اما oxygen. Do oxygen they have bonded with each other to make a molecule. Amazani molecule, two or more atoms when they chemically bond with each other they produce molecules. Elementanish atomakanan they're all oxygen atoms. يعني كاتقالين oxygen element تنها oxygen atom هي بلام oxygen atom كان شيء كردوا دو بيكوا bond يان كردوا molecule يان دروس كردوا لم كاتها we say that moleculana elementana they're made of molecules. These elements made of molecules بيانالي molecular elements. لراستيا إما there are 9 molecular elements. Okay? Halogens, fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine. We have learned before. Oxygen, nitrogen, hydrogen. دواني ترهي كلام سكشنا يخوينين. Sulfur and phosphorus. أمانتشين. These elements are made of molecules, mainly molecular elements. Because their atoms, they have made molecules with each other. Are we getting better? Compound canon. There are 2 types, molecular and ionic. We have learned before, molecular are made of molecules and ionic are made of positive and negative ions, are made of ions. And molecular can, their basic unit at Blane, they exist as individual molecules. They are made of molecules. The group of the molecule together, they make a molecular compound. Basha jawazi chilenian a molecular. What's the difference between these two? Amana, bochiama. This molecule is made of same type of atom. Katic molecule made of same type of atom. It makes what element? Balam katic a molecule is made of different type of atom. There are 2 hydrogen oxygen okay. Amachidrusakat molecular compound ekmodrusakat. Ionica can they're made of a group of ions, a network, a lattice of positive and negative ions. لم كاتا وكو network كتوناتواني basic unit دياري. How we indicate the basic unit شون دياري كين لري ratio كو. We get the small whole number ratio of the ions, positive and negative ions. يسابون من الصوديوم كلورايد NaCl كالين NaCl ما مسمع ال table salt scientific name okay. Pale sodium chloride. Bochi there is only 1 sodium, 1 chlorine. Bochi the ratio is 1 to 1. أما ما نخويندو بس بجوان تريش بس يكي. باشا. أساتو زور جرينجا بزانيت compound كان there are 2 types of compounds, molecular and ionic. Molecular are made of molecules and ionic they're made of ions. Balam gringa tubzani ionic can they're made of metal and non-metals. Basha. Molecular can lechipekatun they're made of metal and non-metal atoms. Non-metal atom can chimbo drusakan the produce molecular compounds. A metal and a non-metals, they produce ionic compounds. أماش بزان باشا. Significance of chemical formula. باشا chemical formula گرنگی chemical formula چیه؟ chemical formula زۆر گرنگە چونکە information پێدات وەکو name like a name and formulas چی پێڵێن they give us information about the composition of a compound, a chemical compound. باسی chemical formula بکەین. chemical formula indicates number of atoms of each kind in a chemical compound. هر chemical formula general name chemical formula بو همون formula كان بكار يعني ما زين دو formula من هي chemical formula unit and molecular formula. Generally chemical formula indicates number and kind numberi atomic kind of atoms in a chemical compounds. باش استاگر بين باسي molecular compound كان molecular compound كان اما زاني molecular compounds those that are made of molecules and those molecules they are made of non-metal atoms. باشا ابيتو امانه بزاني ده molecular compounds are made of molecules. A molecule چی پکاتو molecules made of non-metal atoms. Katek two or more atoms, non-metal atoms. They bond with each other. They produce what? A molecule. Okay? The molecular compound, the chemical formula reveals the number and types of atoms contained in a single molecule of molecular compound. بنمونه hydrocarbon octane. Octane hydrocarbon. يعني شي hydrocarbon? You're going to learn in 12th grade. Hydrocarbon can molecular compound. They're made of molecules. Composed of solely of carbon and hydrogen. All molecular compound they're made of only carbon and hydrogen. Finally, hydrocarbons. Ama it's not our topic. بابتك يمنية. This is a molecular compound. شون بيناسمو carbon, hydrogen, both they are non-metals. كواتا formula is the formula of a molecular compound. ياخذ اتواني بيشي بلين molecular formula. باش. اما تشين بيالت. چزان ياريكم بيدا. What does this give? It gives information about number and types of atoms. Types of atoms contained in a single molecule of molecular compound. كاتف chemical formula كي molecular compound چين بيالت? It represent a molecule. It represent a molecule. Numberi, typey, atoms in a single molecule of molecular compound. Çünkü molecular compound kalın molecular compound. Ya her compound شتێکە ئێمە بە چاوی بینی شتێکە it's big in size. باشە ئەسا millions کاڵین باسی ئەڵین octane هەر سامپڵێکی octane بێنە is made of millions of octane molecules. کاتێک فۆرمولە یونتێکی ئامادەیەتە پێش چاو واتە single moleculeek. ینی represent چووکە octane moleculeەکان هەمووی وەک یەکن. ینی millions لەم molecule اینجا octane compound molecular compound بۆ دروستەکە. باشە؟ اینجا کە ئاما فۆرمولەیەکی لەم شێوە ئەبینیت واتە چیت پێڵێن نمبەری تایپی ئەتۆمەکانی single molecule. چۆن؟ C represenتی کاربنەکە H hydrogen کاتە ئەم octane لە کاربن ئەتۆم و hydrogen ئەتۆم دروست بووە. چەند؟ ئەڵێ لە each molecule of octane contains 8 carbon and 18 hydrogen. هەر moleculeێکی octane کە molecular compoundێکە contains 8 carbon, 18 hydrogens. باشە؟ ئەمە گرنگە بیزانی اما chemical formula molecular compound كان chimpele number of types of atoms in a single molecule of molecular compound. But in single molecule, molecular compound is made of millions, giant of molecules of same type. Okay? أي ionic compound كان إما زاني ionic compounds consist of lots of positive negative ions held together by mutual attraction. سريكا ionic compound كان is made of positive negative ions. Positive كان metals. Each metal atoms bonus sodium وchlorine when they bond شون ionic compound يدروسكا شون table salt دروسكا بونمونا millions of sodium يعني group يقل sodium atom كان sodium atom كان each sodium loses one electron لبرابرة each chlorine gains one electron اسا millions للصوديوم millions للكلورين امانة شكن هر مليونك للصوديوم اتوم كان لوزا كان هر صوديوم كان دانيك لوزا كان لم لا millions of chlorine هر كلورين gain electronic كان لبرابرة attraction روادات which is called ionic compound اما attraction بيكوا ك چين بودروسكا بيلين ionic compound باشا همو صوديوم وكلورين كان بيكوا أبستيتو it makes an ionic compound of sodium chloride باشا كاتك إما من يم formula نوثم chemical formula for anionic compounds ياخد توين بلين formula unit one formula unit tells me the ratio of compounds positive ions cations and negative ions chimpele بون سيري ام example لك اما formula unit كي ionic compound لاني اگر اما خينو معنا اگر تو سرتات بيت اما ببيستيت لاني قرز بيت لما تمكيت بلام اما زانين chemical formula of aluminium sulfate باشا aluminium sulfate is an ionic compound consisting of aluminium cation لقل polyatomic sulfate كاتك aluminium cation كان they bond with polyatomic sulfate sulfate anion chonchoni how they bond each aluminium her aluminiumic it loses 3 electrons the slide that ترى بس يكين aluminium why it loses 3 electrons to have 8 electrons in the last shell sulfate مش polyatomic ion إما خنو معنا we have learned polyatomic ion كاتشين grouping non-metal atoms group of non-metal atoms they are covalently bonded with each other which non-metal كاتا bond between non-metal atoms is covalent bond كاتا أما grouping نيا 1 sulfur 4 oxygen bond يعني كردوا bond كا covalent bond بلام as a whole بو away حمو sulfur كان 1 sulfur has 8 electrons and 4 oxygen has to have 8 valence electrons in the last shell a bit do electron gain بكري أما ما نخينوا باشا يعني as a whole it has a charge باشا polyatomic ion monoatomic ions they make what ionic compounds باشا اي formula ينتاكا ليرا چمبيالي tells me the ratio of ions متشن aluminium هيا there are 2 aluminium چن sulfur 3 SO4 شكا hashtag the bracket this number هالي subscript 3 refers to everything inside the parenthesis given 3 sulfate ions and total of 3 sulfur atoms 12 oxygen atom يعني 3SO4 SO4 their charge is 2 negative each يعني 3 times 1 3 sulfur I'm saying بو هاشتكا for everything inside the parenthesis 3 times 4 there are 12 oxygen 1 sulfur بلان بشويكي قشتي there are 3 sulfate ion بوشي why the ratio is 2 to 3 بوشي it's written 2 aluminium and 3 sulfate in that formula. Which the ionic compound can a charge must be equal. How? When each aluminium loses 3 باشا her sulfatic gains 2 باشا اگر aluminiumic 3 هج aluminiumic يان وني ناكات يان سيو ناكات aluminium باشا each aluminium loses 3 لبرامبرا there must be an anion to gain 3 electrons. تناكري سيلوزا كي تو لبرامبر only 2 gains. أيوة كي تر أو داني ترشيلات. بوي حالي أما بكين شو كا عم ionic compound أبي لم كاتا أبي charge كان equal بن. شان lose كرابت أبي ona gain بيت. بوي أم كشي حلكين دين ratio ion كان قارين. The number of ions. ألين to أبي ratio ion كان دو بسبت بس يواكين cross over أكين there will be 2 aluminium 3 sulfate أجر 2 aluminium with 3 sulfate بي charge كان equal بن بالله 2 there each aluminium loses 3 there are 2 aluminiums and it together means 2 aluminium loses total 6 electron can lose by ألين 6 positive. Again, then if there are 3 sulfate, I bet 3 times 2 negative. بمشيها. هي her sulfate gain 2 كان. أجر 3 bit means total gains 6. لم كاتها 6 electrons gain to be lost, 6 electrons gain to be gained. كاتا charge كان equivalent. أكاتا 0. وايا؟ لم كاتها. So the ratio will be 2 to 3. Then charge going to be equal. Kawata to each formula, each chemical formula of an ionic compound tells me the ratio of ions. Ratio ka if there are 2 millions, here's compounding is a sample of aluminium sulfate. If there are 2 millions aluminium ion, there must be 3 millions. Then an ionic compound of aluminium sulfate produces. ناكري electronic loose كريب كي يعني لوزي كات تشتغل وريجريت. Got charge must be equal. How charge going to be equal? By changing the ratio of ions and each formula unit, each chemical formula of formula unit chimpiolet ratio of ions. أي باشا وتمان chemical molecular compound كان later each formula unit tells me number types of atoms in each molecule. Molecular compound كان they're made of molecules. But an ionic compound made of ions and the ratio of ions we get the ratio of ions in a way that charge they must be equal. But شويك داني formula ka charge كان equal بن ratio كان أقارين then we get a chemical formula for an ionic compound. Formula ينتهي أتواني بلين دلالة لا ionic compound كاكا بيمالي design ionic compounds made of what? Which type of ions and ratio كان شون لم ionic compound باشا إما monoatomic ions polyatomic ions we have learned this in chapter 6 أما تنها review okay monoatomic ions are ions formed from a single atom her single atom كاتك single atom lose one electron أو أتوما pairing ion باشا نابت تشتكي تر تنها lose or gain electronic كردو أي polyatomic ions are ions formed from a group of covalently bonded atoms باسم كر group of atoms has a charge أجر charge hashtag charge يهبو iona if a group of atom أجر group ال atom charge يهبو بيالين polyatomic ion it has sulfur or oxygen 4 oxygen and sulfur أجر cations and anions cations are ions with positive charge باشا anions are ions with negative charge okay أجر had ionic charge negative بيالين anion her اگر polyatomic ion به یاخود monoatomic ion به اگر positive charge بید پیالین cations باشه باباسی monoatomic ion کم بکن اما زنی monoatomic ion single atom has a charge کی monoatomic ion دروسه بید او کاتی atoms of main group elements especially lose ياخد gain يكن gain electronic يكن هر atomic element يك lose electron بكات بيت monoatomic ion باشا سيري doing table diagram سيري sorry I'm a group E1 group 2 group 13 their charge is positive كمان metal كانن metals guys they lose electrons to form cations group E كام چی كان they lose one electrons بو چی الله by gaining losing electrons many group elements main group element كان چی group 1 group 2 13 to 18 form ions with noble gas configuration باشا noble gas configuration with man هر atomic except noble gas كان ها noble gas كان zero بوشي چونك they don't lose they don't gain electrons باش metal كان lose electron كان to have 8 electrons or to have an electron configuration of a noble gas one من lithium lose one electron is going to have 2 electrons in the last shell like a like helium يعني همو اتومكاني element كان هولين lose كان gain كان بشويك كوكو noble gas كان لبه شو كان noble gas كان زور الخوشن they're happy noble gas are happy they're rich زور يسراحة اتومكاني تريش يعني يسراحة بن وتمان شون metal كان they're going to be happy by losing electrons group يكام electronic lose zakat group 2 loses 2 group 13 ka aluminium very common they lose 3 electrons to be happy like noble gases or we can say to have 8 electrons in the last shell cheater man here metals non-metals عفوا أمن الميتال أنا شيكن their gain group 17 gain 1 electron group 16 they have 6 valence electrons they gain 2 they're going to have 8 electrons in the last shell they're going to be like neon باشا nitrogen phosphorus أمانة they gain 3 electrons they have 5 electrons they gain 3 to have 8 electrons in the last shell cheater man here carbon silicon هلا باسم كرجو carbon silicon form covalent bonds in which they share electrons with other atoms carbon و silicon عادة usually they don't lose they don't gain electrons يعني they don't make ions they don't make ionic bond with atoms باشا lose و gain electron ناكن what they do they share electrons باشا they what they share electron with others other non-metals باشا اما بزعن كواتا in ionic compound كان كليرا باسم كردوا by losing gaining electrons metal كان lose كان non-metal كان gain كان و ionic compound كان دروس بلام molecular compound كان there's no losing there is no there are no charge right there are sharing electrons where slide is all about ionic compounds monoatomic يعني monoatomic ions كتشيدرو سكن opposite charges they make ionic compounds cheater man here guys lead man here لقل 10 ام دوانا كاليرا السلايد تراباسيا كين sometimes they lose 2 electrons it's difficult to lose 4 باشا sometimes they lose 2 but also they lose sometimes 4 electrons كواتا تواني بلين lead 10 10 ليرة ليدي شرليرة PB أمدوانا. That's right, they have 4 valence electron, but sometimes they lose 2, sometimes they lose 4, depends on which non-metals do they bond with. Basha, 10 2 positive, 10 4 positive, lead 2 positive, lead 4 positive. And D block, guys, in this table there are no D block. D block elements, basiakin, sometimes they form 2 positive, 3 positive, in few cases 1 positive or 4 positive cations. يعني D block كان chargian is not stable. أو electron lose يكن stable نية. بون group 1 they always lose 1 electrons to be happy. بلام D block كان واني. هنكات depends on which non-metal do they bond. هنكات loses 2, depends on the element atom. Sometimes loses 3. Catex loses 3 carbon iron. Sometimes loses 2. Sometimes loses 3. When it loses 2, it's happy. Also, when it loses 3, it's going to be happy. But depends on which atom do they bond with. Basha? That's why they don't have a constant charge. They form different charges. They have different charges, not like main groups. Especially except tenali, they are in D block in main group elements, but they form more than 1 charge. Basha? Naming monoatomic ions. Sodium table can some common monoatomic ions. Amana lem table. What do you see? They are common monoatomic ions. يعني all atoms of the elements, when they lose, they form monoatomic ions. تقريبا هني common monoatomic ionic معناها إلا group هي كام. Actually all of them are there. lose يك electron كان أمس charge as symbol كان for أميج name كان name symbol name formula or we call symbol here. أما group يدوما أما بزانن أما group 13 باشا group 13 أما باسي مو مع كردون أما زيادة لسري بوستم أما group 17 group 16 أميش group 15 أوايا group 15 just nitrogen phosphorus جرينجن بلام ديرة چي هي مهمة naming كاتك atomic lose the electron when we give it symbol and name some of them changes. بونمونا fluorine كاتك lose the electron a bit of fluorite يعني name change a bit. Symbol we must write F. Symbol as a superscript we write 1 negative or just negative. We change the name to fluorite. A lithium, the name doesn't change. We rule let monoatomic cations just use the element name. Katek name lithium. ما element name كيا باشا atomic مش بيالين lithium. But well, lithium lose 1 electrons. Lithium always lose 1 electron. Katek name كيا you see name doesn't change. Okay, for which group name doesn't change? Group 1, group 2, group 13. ياخد 20 بلين. For cations name doesn't change. Strontium, after losing 2 electrons, yes, the symbol changes. You must write S, and if, for example, strontium went neutral atom, but when it loses 2 electrons, you must indicate the charge, 2 positive. But for the name, doesn't change. Amabo katana can cations use element name. But for monoatomic anions, drop the ending of the element name and add IDE. I'll drop ending depends on the name of the element. Br, bromine, a neutral atom, we call a neutral element, PLN bromine. But after gaining 1 electron, we drop INE and we add IDE, a bit of bromide. A sulfur, just drop UR and replace it with IDE sulfide. باشا يسال لي من مكان fluoride, chloride, bromide, iodide. I'm a group 17. Oxygen a bit of oxide. Sulfur a bit of sulfide. Nitride. كتو when you see nitride يعني nitrogen that has gain 3. You must know the name. لقل symbol okay, symbol with the charge. باشا كلام symbol ionic يعني charge كشي. أبي بينوسيت. A D block, look, D block elements and other with multiple ions. See guys, هنا اللي D block كان لقل others كان تشين تن لقل lead أم دوانا اللي D block هني. باشا multiple ions. سيريكا هنقل ion كان many D block سيريكا كان lose more than one electron to form multiple ions or different charges. هنقل D block كان وقت باس ماكر they form more than one charge. ياخذ تواني بلين لجورك زياتر charge يعني charge كان constant نيا من group كان إحسان ليرة D block كان جماعة their metals they lose electrons كاتا charge كان همويتشيا their charge they're all positive. I'm a positive 1, positive 2, positive 3, positive 4. أنا some of them not all of them but most of them شونن they form more than one ion يعني lose electronic زيادة كان sometimes they lose 1, lose 2, lose 3. باش بلام name for naming there is something we add Roman numerals. The name of them in the table include Roman numerals. بون من copper. جماعة copper دو جوري هي. Copper sometimes loses 1, sometimes loses 2. باشا. When I write the name, أجر من تنها copper بنوس means which eye? The one that loses 1 or the one that loses 2? كمان. So a bit cheap come. I'm going to add Roman numerals to indicate the charge. أجر charge أكي do bit, I put 2 in a bracket. أبي بيكيت a bracket after the name. Name أكانو سيت in a bracket. Charge أكي چنبه 2 positive bit 2 نسيج. شوكا we use Roman numerals guys. تنها بو cations. We use it just for cations. باشا. I'm table to paste بيزانيت بتشارجو نيمكاني بلام هنك من هي جماعة زين كادميوم لقل سيلفر. These three we don't use Roman numerals. بوشي شوكا their charge is constant. They form only one type of ion. Bonus silver it always loses 1 electron, not more. Zinc it always loses 2. Cadmium it always loses 2. أمانة Roman numeral بكار ناني سيريكال when we write their name. But to make the difference in others, we must use Roman numerals. Bash. Binary ionic compounds. جماعة binary compound كان معناها calling binary compound. Binary means 2. Her compound is made of 2 types of element. 2 types of element. يعني atoms 2 different types. 2 different types of atoms. بالله. Align binary compound. بونمونه NaCl. NaCl كاتك formula كأبينيت. It's clear that made of sodium and chlorine atom. 2 types. باسي number ناكين. باسي type أكين. H2O is made of what? It's clear. Hydrogen and oxygen. 2 types, not number. As I know, there are 2 hydrogen, 1 oxygen, 3 number in that molecule. But we're talking about number. If a compound made of 2 types of element, it's called binary. We call binary compound. Balance. Agar For example, CH3Cl. Bash. Is it binary? No, it's not binary. It's made of chlorine, hydrogen, and carbon. Is made of 3 types. Basha? Later, we're talking about binary ionic compounds, like NaCl, which is a binary ionic compound. Again, in binary ionic compounds, the total number of positive charge and negative charge must be equal. نامي زور لسري بوستم أما ما بحث كرت. We talked about a bit charge كان ل ionic compound كان equal بن. شون equal بن charge كان? Sometimes we need to change the ratio كبهمان الله ياخد أتواني charge كان equal. We can equal the charges by the changing the ratio. إسا بس يكي. Katek magnesium and bromine combine. Do elementa made of millions of atoms. These two they combine. Ionic compound in bodru second. Bochi magnesium metal loses 2 electrons. Each bromine can gain 1 electron. Bash. Alin magnesium it's in group 2 metals form 2 positive cation. Bromine a halogen forms 1 negative ion when combined with a metal. Okay, that's clear. In each formula unit, كاتك formula unit تكانسم. يعني we get the ratio. Magnesium bromide, a bit of magnesium bromide. 2 bromine anions are required to balance 2 positive charge of the magnesium. باشا سيريك. هر magnesiumك loses 2 electrons. Charge aquí 2 positive اما constante. yan winina yan losinaga ياخد 2 لوزكات. باشا yan 2 لوزكا yan losinagat. كلورينيش اميجن الميتاليك جروب 17 ازانين كلورين charge aquí چنا 1 negative يعني الكترون توانه gain کرد. باش هاتك مغنيسيوم كلورين بوندك يعني they combine. هر مغنيسيوم لوزي تو الكترونكا هر كلورين gaini 1 الكترونكا. باش لم كاتا and this time charge are not equal. يعني دوان لوز كراوة 1 دانه gain كرد چون مغنيسيوم اي الكتروني تربو كويچد. لم كاتا چيكين اما زانين هر مغنيسيوم bromide capacity there are millions of chlorine and magnesium. بلان ابي ريشوكا بقورين شون. We have 1 magnesium 1 chlorine. ابي there must be another chlorine. اگر chlorine کی ترم هبت now charge are equal. Magnesium loses 2 electrons and there are we need 2 chlorine to gain 2 electrons, right? Each chlorine gains 1. لم كاتيا now what the agar if the ratio is 1 1 magnesiumic لبرابر 1 magnesium there must be 2 chlorine. The ratio must be 1 to 2. كاتيا يعني agar 1 مليون magnesium هبت لهر sample كي magnesium bromide أبد 2 مليون chlorine هبت. The ratio must be 1 to 2. كاتيك formula كأنوسم. I write like that. MgBr2 charge كان لعبة. أما there are 2 chlorine عفوا أما ليرا ب chlorine example كان بوكردن MgCl2 كاتا أما تشيا أما chemical formula نيا چيمبيالي that there means that the ratio of magnesium to chlorine is 1 to 2. Why? Because to the charge must be equal. Why the ratio is 1 to 2? To the charge become equal. Okay? As a charge can 2 times 1 negative, 2 negative, 2 positive, then it's going to be equal to 0. Charge are equal. But we don't use that method. We have another method, writing formulas. Chon formula anusam. Methodic pairing. Crossover method. Crossing over method is a method of balancing charges. بەکارێنی بۆ باڵانسینی charge between ions in ionic compound باشە ئەوەی من بێ لێرە how to use the crossing over in binary ionic compound من چۆن لە فۆرمولەیەکە نووسم ئەگەر من نەیمم هەبێت باشە بۆ نمونە ئەڵێت ionic compound یەکم هەیە write the formula is between aluminium لەگەڵ oxide ion ئەگەر ئەم دوانە aluminium losing 3 ئەکات oxygen gainy 2 ئەکات وەرە فۆرمولەکە بنووسە write the formula تۆ سەرەتا چیەکەیت write the symbols for the ions side by side write the cation first of all you must write the cation کەتانەکە بنووسە باش then يعني تو سمبولەکەی نووسیت aluminium 3 positive لەگەڵ ئەنانەکە ئۆکسجینە گەینی 2 ئەلکترۆنەکە باش ئێمە زانین charge are not equal لە ionic compound کاتێک when we write the formula the charge must be equal چونکە ئەسڵە لە ionic compoundەکە بەو شێوەیە ڕێشۆکە من چۆن نووسم چۆن بزانم ڕێشۆی ئایانەکان چۆنە we use cross over the charge by using absolute value of each ion's charge as the subscript for the other ion. چۆن نووسیم ئەمە 3 positive نییە we take this and we put it we need to do crossover kata the absolute value of the cation a bit a subscript to the anion باشا absolute value okay يعني without the charge the absolute value ياخذ the number of the charge of the anion a bit a subscript to the cation ياخذ تواني بلين the charge of the anion tells me the ratio of the cation ياخذ charge of the cation tells me the what the ratio of the anion crossing over there are 2 aluminium 3 oxygen basha after doing crossover are the charge equal say such an aluminium here there are 2 times 3 positive 6 positive 3 times 2 negative means there are 3 oxygen each oxygen's charge is 2 negative each oxygen gains 2 so total 3 times 2 negative 6 negative then it equals to 0 and it's neutral this is how charge is going to be equal to any plane when we're going to do crossover the total number of the charges the sum of the charges of the ions must be equal to 0 okay essa charge can equal when we write the formula am charge we remove these charges basha 2 negative 3 positive ama la manbert شي أمانته Al2 or 3 kata write the cation then the anion do crossover charge the cationaka a bit subscript to the anion charge the anionaka a bit subscript to the cation remove charges you get the formula okay bash nomenclature or naming system يعني nomenclature ياخذ naming system يعني او سیستمی بەکارێنین بۆ نەیمینی کەمپاوندەکان پێڵێن nomenclature بۆ binary compoundەکان for binary ionic compounds involves combined names of the compounds positive and negative چۆن نەیمینەکەم formula ئەزانم if I give the formula ئەم formulەیەت پێم I give you this in the exam then I tell you write the name ئەڵێت name the cation first من أزانم aluminium I have memorized this table aluminium is where is it here aluminium is 3 positive. The formula doesn't give you charges, but you're going to find out that 3 positive. Oxygen is 2 negative. Well, crossover has been done. I'm saying this number cat. The subscript tells me the charge of the and it's crossover. اگر بگرینو با original. Okay, I'm saying لکیو هاتوا. I'm saying this is the charge of the cation. Why? This number is the charge of the anion. لا أصلا بمشي ويبغى. كتانكم Al, which is aluminium, oxygen. خوي اشتكي. The one that's from left. هميشة بيويبون منها نكاتش دوات باسية كين charge ليريا charge هر بيز ناكات. بيزانم. بدر بيتعلم لكيو بيز بيزاني. علم Al چیه؟ aluminium. Aluminium cation. Charge ka is a metal. So it forms cation. Al is aluminium. Now it's aluminiumite. Okay. O is oxide. Well, name of the anion نالي oxygen. أبي oxide. أما تشوف كليرة أما ريشو ion كانه. يعني oxygen here is ion. ويبقى oxide. Okay. Aluminium oxide. This is the name of this formula. Basha. We'll go back. The one from left is the cation. The one is from right is the cation. كتو أوزاني. This is Al, aluminium. O is oxide. يعني there are 2 aluminium, 3 oxygen لأني compound. أما بكرنا يعني هم خين ما نابلي dialuminium trioxide. أما ionic compound. We don't talk about the ratio. أما ratio أنا كان نمبري atomic كان. Why? يعني do aluminium. Only there are 2 aluminiums here. أما this is the ratio of ions is 2 to 3 to charge become equal. There بس ممكن. أبي وبزاني كبزاني كionic compound bed دايو try prefix بكاراني نيمي ألم كتانك دواتر نيمي anionic. That's it. Example. Guys, أما zinc and iodine أما نيمي element كانا before bonding. After bonding, write the formula. أبيت zinc iodide, isn't it? أتوانم بوشيش بيت بان. باش zinc symbol is here. Zara. Cheater man habu zinc. Sorry, zinc iodine. Iodine is right here. Basha. Charge aquí 1 negative. First, write the cation. Kaman cation is zinc. Z. Kalim symbol, okay? أبي charge كشي بنسيله سرتها. 2 positive. Iodine. ياخد iodide after bonding أكاد. It gains 1 electron name كشي بده iodide. باشا أما نيمي أصل نيمي compound كنيا نيمي element كنا. باشا are the charge equal? Charge كان equal. كك equal بو. Remove charges. You get the formula. من crossover بو چيا كم? To the charge become equal. Okay. So charge they're not equal. We need to do crossover. After doing crossover, we take the number of the charge of the cation and we put it as a subscript to the anion, and the charge of the anion is going to be subscript to the cation after doing crossover. Okay, we take this number, we put it here, we take 1 and put it here. After doing this, are the charge equal? 2 times 1 negative, 2 negative, 1 times 2 positive, 2 positive, 20 billion. Now they're equals and it equals to 0. Why? Okay, so just remove charges. A bit is Zn I2. This is what I want in the exam. This is for you. Do crossover to the charge become equal. هر تو cross over کرد charge directly become equal تو بو اوی بزاني راست كردوه ورا there are two iodine 2 times 1 negative 2 negative and then it equals to 0 it equals to 2 negative zinc يكم here each zinc 2 positive 1 times 2 positive 2 positive then equals 0 again نكات 0 means what you have then is wrong باشا أما zinc and sulfur zinc and sulfur zinc is 2 positive sulfur is 2 negative سيري أمك charge are they equal yes means is that we have one zinc one sulfur if we have one zinc one sulfur charge are they equal they're equal so means crossover do you need to do crossover no you don't need to do crossover so you can't do crossover then you must simplify to 1 to 1 the ratio is 1 to 1 now so remove charges then you get the formula يعني zinc the ratio of zinc to sulfur is 1 to 1 because charge equal we don't need to do crossover okay do not know this cheater man here let's do it for aluminium and sulfur aluminium is Al 3 positive أي sulfur أبي سرتا كتانك بنوسي then the anion sulfur is 2 negative are the charge equal no we need to do crossover so take the charge of the anion absolute value of the cation and put it as a subscript to the anion take the charge absolute value of the charge of the anion write as a subscript to the cation أما crossover زور أسانس أم رقم هالجرا جمارية put it here take the 2 أم crossover now charge are they equal 3 times 2 negative 6 negative 2 times 3 positive 6 positive then the charge is going to be equal then equals to 0 okay then it's not the formula we just need to remove the what the charges sorry Al2S3 Basha that's it what about naming binary ionic compound include by the following I'll name the binary ionic compound it tells you it's ionic compound so just know that's silver chloride okay barium oxide zinc oxide here you don't need to know the charge calcium bromide Sr 2 positive is the one from left is the cation and you don't need to know you don't care about the here the numbers okay strontium fluoride barium oxide calcium chloride that's it okay the stock system of nomenclature category stock system guys means using Roman numerals am I Roman numerals we use Roman numerals to indicate the charges of what of the cations بونمونا بس معكر iron Fe2 positive iron 3 positive iron it has 2 forms of iron 2 positive and 3 positive كاتك when I write the name أبتشيبكم I must put it in a bracket iron 2 here later iron 3 باشا it's clear when I but for those they form only one ion we don't use Roman numerals بوتمان با sodium main group كان sulfur zinc cadmium we don't use Roman numerals باشا we don't use it because they form only one ion باش Naming a binary ionic compound according to the stock system is illustrated below. سيرك أما formulaic. Formula of an ionic copper cation chlorine is anion is an ionic compound. There is one copper, two chlorine. Well, the ratio is 1 to 2. When I write the name, جماعة هر كاتك to you know this table. To azanid which one main group elements they don't form more than one ion except tin and lead كدوجو or second. If you see a diblock element la formulaic to azani copper is the one that formed more than one ion to a bit لم كاتنا charge بزاني. Charge is important. L'area is not important. These examples: silver, zinc, amana, calcium, strontium, barium, calcium. Azanam amana cation, the one from left, but they have only one charge, type of charge. They form only one type of ion. Katan layer charge is not important for naming, but here, when you see Cu is a copper, it forms two types: copper positive one positive copper. Two positive. اللم كاتيا charge is important. شو charge كبزانم? You can find out by the subscript. Bam subscript they do not always tell us the charges. To chipka, you know the anion. Anion كان they're constant. يعني anion كان نجورن. Chlorine chana 1 negative. باش أبي بكاتي 0 بوشي بيدو 0 زور عسانا 2 chlorine here. Each chlorine is 1 negative باشا. So 2 times 1 negative يعني چند 2 negative. Why? هر chlorine gainy electronic 2 times 1 negative 2 negative. Kata copper a bit chambit to becomes to the sum of the charges of the atoms there become equal. A bit chambit 2 positive bit. Kata copper lera chana 2 positive. It's clear, right? Kata chlorine is 1 negative, copper is 2 positive. Amma mazani name when you write the name, you must write copper 2. That Roman numeral means the charge. You write the copper 2 chloride. Agar o Roman numeral nanusit, that name is wrong. Abid those they for more than one type of ion, you must what? Indicate the charge by the Roman numerals. It's clear. ياخد تواني methodش مپیوتون are the subscript equal? Subscript equivalent? نخیر equivalent means crossover has been done. Kata the subscript of the anion tells me the charge. Kata copper layer 2 positive. Yaka pemala is 1 negative, but it's not always true. Zinc oxide. عفو بابلين شي copper Cu Later, copper chana. What's the charge of copper? من كاتك نيمين كم أزارم copper I must copper forms 2 types, but which type is that? Later important أبي بزاني. So when you write, you must write 1 or 2 after the name. شو بزانم? Both their ones. Ratio كان 1 to 1. Means crossover has not been done. How I know? By the لم كاتا by knowing the charge of the anion. Anion chana 2 negative. Boy equal be abe copper chambe 2 positive bit. ياخد علم. I can use that method. Oxygen is constant, but you must know the anion. Anion constant. 2 negative. To become 0, alem, we have 1 oxygen, 2 negative. Got a copper 1 times 2 negative, 2 negative. Clear. كواتا copper أبي 2 positive به to become 2 positive and to become 0 و that's it توانیم به همه ریگی oxidation number بدازینو charge must be equal to become 0 أبي sum of the charge of the atoms must be equal to 0 okay كواتا الليرة كاتق نيمة كان وسم اللهم copper 2 copper 2 oxide باشا copper 2 oxide okay example later chromium F أما نيمك is given actually Alain write the formula and write the formula and name formula كتشون اسم CR write the cation first symbol and the anion one negative باشا دوامت چی معنی are the charge equal تو بیا بسیاره لخود کی آیا charge كان equal نخير equal نين كواتا من چیه أبي cross over أبيت شيء أمسية تيرا يعني charge كتانك أبيت subscript to the anion charge of the anion أبيت subscript بلام charge لقى خط anion absolute value so أبيت charge كان لعبة يعني 3 positive 1 negative أبيت CR F 3 يعني الريشيو كم كم بتشنا 1 to 3 بوشي 3 times 1 negative 3 negative 1 times 3 positive 3 positive then it equals to 0 كواتا أوي كردوتا what do you have then is correct okay that's it if I name it how I name it chromium is the one that formed more than one ion سيري أركا chromium there are two types chromium 2 chromium 3 يعني chromium 2 positive chromium 3 positive أما كان جوريانا chromium 3 positive so كاتق ناوكي نسيت أبيت شي بكيت like chromium چند 3 دعوة fluoride ماشي fluoride name of the anion cation and the anion but you must use Roman numerals for those they form more than one ion أبيتو بيناسيتو كمان ليرا charge بيما بيزاني but in some of them it's not important أما نشبه حمان الشيوة با iron king Fe the B others you can do it by yourself باشا iron لقال oxygen oxide 2 negative 2 positive باش ليرة are the charge equal means yes crossover no need to be done بوشي من يك oxygen هم here يك there is only one Fe 1 times 2 negative 2 negative 1 times 2 positive 2 positive so normally it equals to 0 so we don't need to do crossover just remove charges it would be Fe oh that's it so it's iron chant iron 2 oxide why later charge can is drown but in the exam I might not give this but من later alam CuO alay copper 2 bochi oxygen is 2 negative boy cut 0 alam 1 times 2 negative 2 negative to become 0 a big copper chamber as I said before 2 positive 2 positive, 2 negative, it equals to 0. كاتا when I write the name أبي أقول copper 2 oxide. Here cobalt is 1 negative و لري أنا كوا كتانا كأدوسمو شكا كوبالت ياخد cross subscript are they equal نخير equal ني كاتا crossover has been done كاتا this subscript كي أنا tells me the charge of the cation already as أنا بوي to equal 0 then 3 times 1 negative 3 negative كاتا cobalt بوا cobalt must be 3 positive. Here also is like that. Here subscripts are not equal, so subscripts they tell me the charges يعني they tell me يعني here crossover has been done. This 4 means 10 is 4 باشا 4 positive, and this number tells me iodine is 1 negative. Iodine is 1 negative. 4 times 1 negative 4 negative. Katas 10 must be 4 positive to become 0, to the charge become equal. Why? For iron sulfide is also like that. Sulfur is 2 negative, and cross subscript are they're equal, and both they're 1. Crossover has not been done. شلون بزانم؟ الري أنا كم كنا 2 negative كاتا iron a bit 2 positive به boy equal به to كاتا 0. وها يعني أتوانم شلون بيعلم 1 times 2 negative 2 negative iron يكا كاتا بيجي a bit 2 positive به 1 times 2 positive 2 positive then it equals to 0. كان نيجي مكان نسمع علم iron 2 then sulfide. أما answer كان ماليري ها iron 2 sulfide لين 10 4 iodide لين cobalt 3 fluoride